If you are feeling stuck and unhappy in your relationship, and you just can't get yourself to decide what to do, to stay or to go or to leave, this is one of the best videos you'll ever watch. And I guarantee it because it is based on my own experience of this. I watched so many YouTube videos when I was navigating this, and I didn't really get my answers, but then I went through the process myself. And this is why I really wanted to make it for you because I get it. Leaving relationships or staying in difficult relationships are both really, 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 really hard. And it's hard no matter who you are, no matter what your history is. But if you have any sort of trauma, especially abandonment wounding, this compounds this. This makes it so much harder. Even if somewhere in your mind, you know what you should do or you have an inkling, it's hard to do it. It's hard because it's not a mental decision. It's your whole body. It's a somatic experience. So I left my 14-year relationship almost a year ago. And I have to tell you that I left quite easily when I actually left. When I actually made the decision, there was a lot of ease in it. And I know you're like, how? How is this possible? And I would have said the same thing, but I knew in my heart of hearts that whatever decision I would make, it has to feel really right in my body. It doesn't have to feel like I'm pushing or an uphill battle. And that's what ended up happening because I used specific tools that I'm going to share with you. I'm going to share 5 tools with you that are so helpful. I remember so clearly spending more than a year just so unhappy. I mean, years, really, really, really unhappy. But spending about a year just on my knees, like crying, screaming, talking to God, all the things, whatever I could do, honestly. And just like, what do I do? Like, I don't know what to do because I did not want to walk out of a marriage. I did not want to end the relationship. I wanted this marriage for life, and I was very unhappy at the same time. And I just couldn't understand what the heck is going on. Okay, so I'm not going to obviously tell you what you should do, but I'm going to give you tools that will help you figure it out and that will help you arrive at a very powerful decision. So I'm going to leave the best for last. There is one tool that literally changed the game for me completely and entirely, okay? But I'm going to start with this. You need to honor your nervous system, okay? You need to honor your nervous system in your process. And what this means is put no pressure on yourself. I had a lot of really good friends tell me, don't put pressure to make a decision by a certain time. Just like allow yourself to go through this process. Our nervous system does not work well with pressure, especially when we're already under stress. And so if you are like, oh my God, I have to decide by, I don't know, a month from now or whatever, however long, your nervous system will freak out and will eventually go into a freeze state. And then it's going to make it 10 times harder. You're just going to be shut down, overwhelmed, completely unable to make decisions. And as you know, when we're navigating, if we're navigating divorce, or even if we are deciding to stay, but it's challenging and there's a lot to process together, that's hard. And you don't want to put extra pressure. So this is the first thing, the first thing I want to tell you to really, really pay attention to. Don't put pressure on yourself. Tell yourself, I'm going into this process of deciding this really hard thing, and I'm actually going to use it for my evolution and growth. I'm going to walk out of this at the end as an even more powerful, more evolved human. And that's truly what happened to me, you know? So yeah, that's the first thing I want to tell you. The second thing I want to tell you is I worked with an incredible coach. I'm so grateful. And if you are feeling stuck, definitely work with a coach. I work on this with clients navigating these kinds of decisions. And what she had me do is make a list of my needs in a relationship. I've never done that. Oh my God, I have needs in a relationship. What? So I made a list of needs in my relationship. Now, she was a sex coach, which is really, really cool because a lot of people have no idea what their needs are, but they know what turns them on. So if you know what turns you on, that's kind of going to lead you to see your needs in the relationship. And there are different categories of needs. Maybe I'll make a whole other video on this and you can look it up to help yourself. In my community, Heartspace, my monthly community, there are resources where I guide you to create your list of needs according to questions and categories, because I know this can be really overwhelming. But this is another thing. So what this does is it helps you get more clarity and look at things more objectively. Like, is this person meeting these needs? Okay, are they? Are they willing to? Are they going too soon? Or has it been like 5 years of them not doing that? And yes, everyone has the capacity to change. And have you seen a consistent pattern that they are not meeting those particular needs, right? So this is kind of a reckoning process with your own self, because many of us, try to change people, right? Try to just wait for that transformation and help them and send them blog posts and articles and maybe even this video, right? Or any of my other videos. Now, if you have seen consistently that this person is not meeting this particular need, for example, you don't feel seen, or they're not present, or they don't contribute to the chores of the household, whatever it might be that's very important to you. And of course, they're not going to meet every single need. That's a whole other topic, but really get honest with yourself when you look at this, when you do this reckoning. It doesn't mean you need to make any decision yet, okay? Because my very last tip that I'm going to give you, or tool, is going to help you make that decision more easily, I promise. But this is just like a reckoning, and the decision will come later. So what happens is, when you make this list of needs, you start to look at your partner with more clarity and honesty. Okay, so that's number 3. Looking at this person with clarity and honesty. So ask yourself, how long have they not met this need? What are they willing to do right now to meet this need? Now, as I've mentioned, they're not going to meet every single need, right? But pick like your top 5. And if literally they're not meeting those top 5 consistently for years, and there's not really a plan on their part in place for that, and they're not showing interest, they're not showing that they're committed to it on their part. Again, you can't force anyone to change or to meet your needs, but if they're also interested in that, they're going to do the work, right? So yeah, this is where you get really clear and honest with yourself. And now for one of the best tips you're going to hear, and this changed my life. There is this method called inner relationship focusing. Inner relationship meaning relationship with yourself. I will put a link to it in the description. And one of the beautiful questions that this method presents, which I love, about our parts. So here, I encourage you to work with the part of you that is stuck. The very part that's like, oh my God, I cannot make a decision. I'm going in circles. And I remember myself like going in circles and circles and circles. It was so exhausting. Yes, no, what's right? Am I bad? Is he bad? Like, what is happening here? Oh, it was truly exhausting. It took so much energy. That part of you is stuck in a loop, right? So the way that we detangle ourselves from that, and I recognize that's really challenging, especially if you have complex trauma or any kind of trauma related to relationships. The way that we detangle from this is by asking this part, the part that is stuck in the loop, how are you trying to help me? So we tend to assume that all parts of us are not necessarily helpful, right? And that part we probably are like so annoyed with. We're like, oh my God, why do you keep looping around? You're so frustrating. Like, this sucks, right? But the truth is, every single part of you is actually trying to help you in some way. And I remember asking this question, and sitting with my body was not a mental exercise. It was actually the part of me, wherever it is, in your throat, in your chest, in your belly, in your shoulders, wherever it might be, and asking it this question, how are you trying to help me? And what I heard was, this man has given you emotional support. He's been the only human to give you emotional support pretty much in your life. and I'm trying to make you hang on to that. And that brought so much emotion, so much grief, so much anger, just so many feelings. And it just unraveled like a whole journey for me. And the more I sat with that part and I said, thank you, I actually really do need that. Of course I need that. And then like, is he giving that to me now? Like, let's get honest. Is he like, he did, he definitely did. But in this version of me, in this evolution, is he giving that to me? And it also then prompted me to give it to myself, to grieve not getting it, right? I thought I was grieving the end of a relationship. And of course, that's part of it. But really, what I was most grieving is the support that I didn't receive my whole childhood, the emotional support I didn't receive. And when I got to that layer of depth, it made leaving very clear to me and much more easeful, which is really interesting. But that was it. That was the block. And I accessed the truth of the block by being curious about it and by asking, how are you trying to help me? Seriously, this question will change your life. And this is, again, a somatic process. We're not mental here, because the stuckness that you're feeling is a very sure sign that there's something much deeper going on than just your mind stuck in a loop. When we go into a loop in our minds, we're actually in a protective state. We are actually protecting ourselves from emotional pain. And of course, it has a place. And as I mentioned, take your time, right? We're not rushing the decision, and we need to go deeper. And the last thing is, if you do make a decision to leave, or actually, even if you make a decision to stay and you decide that you're willing to be okay with a particular part of you not getting met, or need rather, there's grief. There's grief there, and we have to feel it. Unfortunately, we cannot make our mental way through a breakup. We have to grieve. Now, here's a tip for grief that is so life-changing. Put on your saddest playlist that you have of music that evokes sadness for 15 minutes max a day. You don't have to do this every day. I did this every day for weeks. You could also do it, every other day, whatever your nervous system can kind of be with, and let yourself feel it for 15 minutes. Now, that feels more safe because you have 15 minutes. It's not forever. It's not all day. You have 15 minutes, right? Now, all of this works best when you have support. And this is why I have a community called Heartspace. This is my monthly membership community. There are many humans in there navigating relationships, breakups, new relationships. I mean, the whole gamut, just really dealing with not getting some needs met and grieving that, dealing with, leaving relationships, the whole kind of spectrum. And I support you in there, and we support each other. And it's a really beautiful, vulnerable space. So please check that out. I would love to have you there. I would love to support you. There are somatic practices you can do that are recorded. There are reflection questions, so many resources so you don't feel alone in this. So please check that out. And also, I have a course called Stay or Go that is really based on these principles, but we go deeper, of course, into each of them. And I really take you through the process that I went through to be able to make a decision. And I have to say, I feel so proud of the decision I made, how I made it, how I navigated it, and just the ease that I feel around it now, and the friendship that I have with my ex-husband, and all the things around this, because I used it as a way to elevate myself rather than as a way to kind of lose it, because I know this is really hard. It was really hard for me too, and you're not alone, and you shouldn't feel alone. So use these resources. I'm going to put them in the description box. And thank you so much for being here. I love you. You're not alone. I know this is really, really, really challenging. So feel free to reach out and check out all that is available to you.